Hey guys, this is me, KO, repping Arsenal transfers and analysis, and I'm being joined again by Adu here. How are you again, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm fine, and obviously seen in the previous two videos, and today we're doing a video special discussing a potential combined Arsenal Liverpool 11. We've agreed on the 4-2-3-1 formation. So straight off, goalkeepers, Petr Cech versus Simon Mignolet. Come on, there's only one winner here. Come on.
Mignolet is a very good keeper. As you've seen since January, he's been brilliant. But I'm not going to be biased and say he's going to beat Petr Cech and go.
Yes, Petr Cech. You know, he's won literally everything you can win in the club game, Champions League, Europa League, Premier League. He's won everything.
With Chelsea, but
exactly.
He's still a world-class goalkeeper.
So I think definitely it's a goalkeeper. It's goalkeeper definitely Petr Cech. So going to right back, Nathaniel Klein versus Hector Bellerin. I'm an Arsenal fan, I have to say Bellerin is a good young player, but I do think
Nathaniel Klein, it's simple because Bellerin has had a half a good season. He came in for Debussy last season. Nathaniel Klein has been playing in the Premiership for quite a few years now, and
consistently as well.
He's England international right back. Should sign for 12 million for us, and he's played 3 games and got 3 clean sheets, and he just looks at the right place right now. So there's no debate there. I think you can argue as much as you want for Bellerin. He's a very good youngster. He's got a very bright future ahead of him. But right now, you'd much rather have Nathaniel Klein.
So going on to the two centre backs, Nathaniel Klein at right back. Starting off with the right centre back, Mertesacker versus Skirtle. What do you think is the problem with Mertesacker at the moment? That I'm sure I have to say it's going to be Skirtle in there.
I'm not a big fan of either. As a Liverpool fan, you might find this shocking, but I don't.
I thought Skirtle
rate Skirtle as much as many others.
I thought Skirtle has improved a lot over last season.
I think Martin Skirtle's a good centre back, but he can be replaced by a better centre back. There are better centre backs out there.
What about Sacco?
Sacco's a left centre half, so if it came down to Skirtle versus Mertesacker, I'd have Skirtle because Mertesacker's dog shite. I don't rate Mertesacker. He's good in the air. He's got a bit of presence, but he's too slow.
I agree with that. I think Mertesacker plays well with Koscielny next to him, but without Koscielny next to him, just loses his discipline.
Skirtle scores in big games and he makes them last ditch tackles.
Against Arsenal last
season. Twice in the 5-1 win, and he scored last minute
against Arsenal in that
2-2 draw at Anfield last season as well. So he's a big match player, and he does score crucial goals for us.
Going on to left centre back, you have Lovren versus Koscielny. Again, one winner here, definitely.
Yeah, Koscielny would win because of Lovren's pass. Maybe if we were comparing Sacco, it'd be a different debate due to who's being the French centre half, which is usually Sacco. But at this moment in time, Sacco can't get into our team, so we'll go with Lovren versus Koscielny. And you'd much rather have Laurent Koscielny, who's more reliable, less defensive errors, and he's quite pacey for a centre half. So you know what you're going to get with him, and you'd much rather have him.
On to left back, we have the youngster Joe Gomez versus Monreal. Come on.
Based on.
Can't just base it on 3 games.
You can't base it on 3 games.
Monreal is a Spanish international left back. He has played.
Played for ahead of Jordi Alba.
He has played sometimes. He has played. Obviously, he's not a starter. Jordi Alba obviously had him, but he has played.
Nacho Monreal, he had a very hard start to the Premiership. Very similar to Andre Santos, who was your left back a couple of years ago.
I think Monreal has definitely matured.
He's matured. He's first team ahead of Gibbs now, but I think yesterday, if we have to go for who was the standout performer between the left backs,
Joe Gomez. But
Joe Gomez.
I think over consistent.
Had you been comparing Monreal with his Spanish compatriot in Alberto Moreno, I'd take Monreal. But we're talking about current combined 11. We could talk about the
you
past.
can't just say Joe Gomez over 3. I mean, in the future, possibly he will become.
But we're talking right now. If you're going to pick a team right now to go out and do your good job.
Come on, Monreal. You can't pick Joe Gomez after 3 games. I mean, Chambers had a very good start to the Premier League last season. He had at right back. He played a lot of good games. Then he played against Swansea. He got destroyed by Montero, and we've never seen him again playing right back. I mean,
we'll give Monreal this one based on experience in the Premiership.
Maybe in reverse fixtures might have this debate again and say
we play you like in January, in mid-January.
Maybe by
so
then,
Joe Gomez
at this moment might still take Monreal.
Okay, we'll give Nacho Monreal then.
I want that one. to the CDM. Coquelin versus is it Henderson?
Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson. Here we have Liverpool's captain versus
The raw Francis Coquelin.
I think that's a debatable. I mean, if you ask a lot of Arsenal fans, they might just say Coquelin. But to be honest with you, Jordan Henderson, Alex Ferguson did want to say that he is not a footballer. He doesn't have the technical ability. So there's a bit of debate there. But I do think in terms of leadership, it's hard. What do you think? I think maybe Jordan Henderson just edges it because of his reach and his height.
I think Jordan Henderson is a very good footballer. He's not the most technical player, but he can produce a few good moments. Last season he scored a brilliant goal against Manchester City. He has got it in his locker. He keeps Jack Wilshere out of the England team a lot, and he played in the World Cup ahead of Jack Wilshere. So he must be doing something right. Francis Coquelin is at half a good season. He will be a very good centre defensive midfielder, but right now, I think if you want someone, if you're going to go for the defensive midfield role, I'd take Francis Coquelin because you want someone to cut out the play in that role.
Jordan Henderson doesn't do that. He's more
box to box, and he'll go box to box. But then, if we give Coquelin that, and we have to compare like for like in the other centre defensive midfield role with James Milner and Santi Cazorla, I think in that role that they're playing, if they're playing defensive midfield, you'd much rather have James Milner because Cazorla can't play that role as well.
Gallagher has mentioned that as well, that you can't really play Cazorla with.
It's very weak.
It's not balanced.
So if we were going to go,
probably be a James Milner
make it fair and
Coquelin.
go one of each, I'd say Henderson could win that. Henderson and Milner would have a good
James
chemistry.
Milner is a better
I think
player.
Milner is the better one of the two, and I think Milner and Coquelin together would be a fair.
So in central midfield, we've got Coquelin and James Milner. Going on to Cam, and this is the big debate. We've had this a lot of times, Adam, you know this. Mesut Ozil versus Felipe Coutinho, the young Brazilian wizard. I definitely would go for Ozil. I know you.
There's no debate. Coutinho is a much better player. Ozil is living off his career in La Liga. He had a very good career in La Liga, but since he's moved to the Premiership,
do you think that Arsenal style doesn't fit Ozil because there's no one making the runs against Liverpool?
Many Arsenal fans claim he's a world-class player. World-class players win matches. Is Mesut Ozil a match winner? No, he's not. Is Philippe Coutinho a match winner? Yes, he is.
I think in terms of dribbling and scoring goals, Philippe Coutinho is at another level to Mesut Ozil. But in terms of playmaking, and even on the chief role is playmaking, you can't really blame Mesut Ozil for having no one to pass the ball to. I mean, he has Olivier Giroud. What can Giroud do with the ball? In terms of chances created, only Ozil creates chance after chance after chance. He looks up, no one takes it. I think possibly if you were to play Coutinho in that free role behind the striker, that would work.
You see him with Coutinho, he can find the perfect pass. He found one in Daniel Sturridge last season against West Ham. He has got it in his locker, but he also has a shot from range in his locker, as we've seen against Manchester City twice. We saw against Southampton last season. We saw against Stoke in the first game of the season. He won that game for us because we have the freedom to know if we give him the ball, he can do something special. Can Arsenal do that and expect Mesut Ozil to win a game for you? I don't think so. You can give it to Alexis Sanchez and he can produce that good. But if you give the ball to Mesut Ozil and say, go on, be boss, just do something.
So would you potentially have a trio in that attacking midfield where you will have like someone like Sanchez, Coutinho, Ozil drifting along, because all three players do like moving across the front three. We've seen it with Chelsea in the weekend playing Pedro, Hazard, Willian. All three, not exactly number 10s, but they all alternated across that three in attacking midfield.
You could have it because Ozil can't play predominantly. He plays behind the striker.
But he does drift sometimes left.
Coutinho can play right attacking mid and left, and Sanchez can play along the three as well. So you could go with a three there.
But let's just say put Coutinho as nominally behind
because
the
if
striker.
you want to go, if you have a number 10 and you have to pick between Coutinho and Ozil, there's no doubt. Right now, as an Arsenal fan, you'd be biased.
World Cup winner. I'll be definitely biased, but
Bastian Schweinsteiger's a World Cup winner. We've seen what he's done in the Premiership so far. He's done nothing. Pep Guardiola said he's not had a good game. He's not been match fit for 2 years. So can you really base it on that? Can you just say because he's won the World Cup? Mertesacker won the World Cup, but you put Martin Skrtel ahead of him.
But again, you can say you don't really think that Coutinho has done what he's done with Liverpool, replicated that.
We're talking about now, and forget international. Mesut Ozil is a world-class footballer when he was at Real Madrid. Is he anymore? I don't know. But
I think
he's not a match winner. Mesut
if
Ozil
he
is
has
not
the
a match
players
winner.
around him, I think he would definitely become a much better.
Philippe Coutinho doesn't have the players around him yet. He produces goods week in, week out.
He has, but I think his skill set is different to Mesut Ozil. I think they're two
So
different
if
types of players.
If Mesut Ozil needs players around him to produce his goods, then it's just ridiculous, because a world-class player should not need players around him, should not depend on other players.
But if you have like a world-class defender, you wouldn't expect him to be doing solos on defence. You know what I mean? I get your point.
But Mesut Ozil's a centre
let's
attacking midfielder
play Coutinho in that cam role
ahead of Ozil. So if you have to pick one to play in that role, you'd say Coutinho, because Coutinho right now.
Personally, I'd like to play Coutinho on the left wing because he can cut in on his right foot and score goals. I think that we saw what he did against Bellingham. He skilled him up on the left wing. He left him for the Bellingham. Bellingham was gone. Like, he was sent to the shops. You mean? So we've seen that Coutinho can drift in from different positions. Alright, let's just say for argument's sake, let's just end this here. Put Coutinho in the number 10 because I do agree that he does score goals, does do more dribbling, he does win matches. But let's play Ozil on the left, Sanchez on the right, because they will all be able to alternate in a similar way that Chelsea's attacking three midfielders do. Alright, so that makes it fair. Alright, let's do you want to debate. I do agree.
But we all agree. You'd much, if you had to pick one right now to pick.
I think right now, considering the age especially, I would take Philippe Coutinho. I'm sorry, Arsenal fan, but I would take Philippe Coutinho. I'm being honest here. Ozil is a great footballer, but the thing is, right now, who would suit Arsenal's play more? I think Philippe Coutinho, because our attack is lacking by. We haven't scored enough goals this season. We haven't scored enough goals at home, especially for the last.
I think if
few months.
did have Coutinho, he could take on players and give Jude a bit more freedom. Ozil's more intricate, whereas Coutinho drives with the ball and takes on players.
Going on to the strikers, I think there's no debate here. I'm sure all Arsenal fans know my feelings about Olivier Jude. So Jude versus Benteke, there's only one winner.
I personally like Olivier Giroud. I'm actually a big fan of Olivier Giroud, but I think if you have to come down to between Christian Benteke and Olivier Giroud, there's only one winner here. It's Christian Benteke, the big powerhouse.
Watching the game against, the game yesterday, Arsenal versus Liverpool. I remember seeing Jude and Benteke, two similar big players. I thought who would win the most balls in the air. Time and time again, I saw Benteke winning the ball in the air, laying the ball off for Coutinho and the likes to do their stuff. But Jude just looked like he was shackled too easily by the defenders. Skirtle had him unlocked, Lovren had him unlocked. But with Benteke, he seemed to be always, winning the ball in the air, holding the ball up. He has some good chances, good opportunities to do his stuff.
I think Giroud's quite one-dimensional, whereas people argue that Benteke is, but Benteke has proved in his
pace, he can dribble.
For his size, he's quite quick. He's got a bit of skill about him. He can shoot from range. And in the pre-season game, I know it's pre-season, but he scored a bicycle kick. It doesn't matter who it was against, but he scored a bicycle. So he's got that in his locker. He's winning balls in the air. He can play on the ground. He's got a bit of skill about him. So I'd much rather have Christian Benteke. He's got a better goal-to-game ratio. And if you find his feet at Liverpool,
especially at Aston Villa, a weak Aston Villa team, he had a lot of goals, especially there.
He scored a goal there. He scored in his Anfield debut. Players who also scored in the Anfield debut, Luis Suarez and Fernando Torres, and we all know how they turned it. 50 million, 75 million returns we got on both. So if he can be half as good as either of them, it'd be a very good investment.
But that's that. So we have it there. Head to check. You have it in goals. Right back Nathaniel Klein. The two centre backs we have Skirtle and Koscielny. We have Monreal at left back. In midfield we have Coquelin, partnered by James Milner. In the number 10, Adel won it there. Coutinho there. Left wing Ozil. Right wing Sanchez. And in strike we have Christian Benteke. Thank you, Adel, for your time today.
That's alright. Please
watch our two previous videos that we made. Please leave a like, rate and subscribe if you're new. Follow this guy on Twitter.
I got my point through about Coutinho though. Very happy with that. He's a lot better than Mesut Ozil.
Please forgive me, Arsenal fans. I lost that debate. Take care, guys.